this morning. We've got Nick Ferrari and Jodie Marsh. Very good to see both of you. And Nick, just before we kick things off and we're talking about newspapers and whatever, sad news reaches us this morning of a man who we both know and many of our viewers will know from appearances on this morning. He was the Daily Mirror royal editor, the former royal editor, James Whittaker, who we hear has died this morning at the age of 71.
Yes, this news just within the last hour, as you rightly say, one of the favourites of this great show, one of the favourites of Fleet Street, if it still existed, which it doesn't. I know you've both met him professionally. A great bloke, one of the brightest and happiest members of the Royal Rat Pack. In fact, I just tweeted before I came on, I think he was as classy as the people he followed. And
the big red tomato is what Princess Diana christened him.
Diana was particularly fond of him, and he broke a few stories that wouldn't have gone down well in the palace, so credit to the fact the royal family, they realised.
Well, a few weeks ago there was this gathering to meet the Queen and Prince Philip at the palace, and he was with me, him and me were together, and Prince Philip came walking over and started speaking to us, and he said, well, this is James Whittaker's James was more royal than the royals, really, and he said, well, HRH, how's the shooting going on? And he said, well, global warming's great, he said, absolutely super. He said, more grouse than ever. Apparently the global warming means there's much more birds migrating.
Brilliant.
And whatever.
That's a very good impression of James.
Yeah,
he was great fun, Nick, as well, wasn't he? That, you know, whenever he came on here, he was
tremendous.
Full of
well, I
fun
think that's why your viewers wanted.
Yeah.
They could see what he was. Tremendous character.
Well,
so commiserations
to his
about
family
many of his family are in the industry,
yes.
so commiserations.
And he used to watch. He retired out to Spain and used to watch us from the coast of Spain. I forget what it was called, just outside Marbella. It's gone anyway.
Spain.
Jodie with us here as well, and we're looking at the fallout on Whitney Houston and all these stories emerging now about her.
How sad, I know. And just, well, I mean, the stories in the paper today, obviously, the X Factor star has claimed that Whitney flew into this terrifying rage in a club and they had to be pulled apart and she fell over and cut her leg and all of this. You know, I think just another story of a huge, huge talent going to waste by being out of control and you know, the drink and the drugs and everything else.
It's inevitable, Nick, isn't it, as well, that these stories, you know, the first couple of days, it's great commiserations and we've lost an amazing talent.
Well, it's the shock.
And then coming, what happened.
You can't come to terms with it. She's too talented, she's too young. She's unfortunately, another huge star that's been broken by the problem of drug and drinks. My thought at times like this always goes, particularly in this case, to the daughter, who I believe is 18, who's got issues of her own. She's already been hospitalised twice. She, at some point, is going to wake up to these stories, either in American papers or on the net, about her mother being involved with all sorts of things that we won't go into for well-known reasons. How helpful... Now, I'm not saying you can put a news blackout. We're in the industry. You wouldn't want that. But I'd just like people to just think how an 18-year-old daughter is going to view these stories. She's still coming to terms with the loss of her mum, and I don't think a lot of thought is given to
it was the same for the
Is it going to let her know? Is it going to say
Mm.
anything that she didn't know as well? I mean, there's a lot of things people don't know. You get the front of the Daily Star here, and they're speculating, of course, that she was gay.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Which, again, a circle of friends, there seems to be confirmation. So maybe the daughter did know, maybe she didn't.
But
does she need it now?
What upsets me about this story particularly is that if she was so traumatised, and this is what the papers are trying to suggest, that this was her turmoil, that all these years she was gay and she couldn't say it, in this day and age, why can't she say it?
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
But maybe that's what the record bosses, maybe they want a certain image and all that sort of thing. Well, OK, and we're talking about the abuse of alcohol and all that sort of thing. The Prime Minister speaking today about what
he's saying he's declaring war on the scourge of cheap alcohol today, and binge drinking. He's going to cut down. He wants this all to stop. They're going to have these kind of, what do they call them?
Well, they're drunk tanks and booze buses.
And booze buses.
And this is meant to solve the problem. All I would say is, in many other walks of life, there are standard fines. If you drive dangerously, if you speed, if you don't wear a seatbelt, you are instantly fined an amount of money. Why can't it be that if you are picked up and put in a booze bus or a drunk tank, when you sober up, 250 quid is lifted out of your...
See, when I first read this, I thought, do you know what, I think that's a pretty good idea, because so many A&Es on a Friday and Saturday night are absolutely full of people who are drunk, taking up valuable time with the nurses and doctors who need to deal with emergencies. So I think, great idea, take them somewhere else. But in the morning, like a hotel, go, that's lovely, thank you very much.
This is how much it is, exactly, because 2.7 billion it's costing us. These drunk people, that's what it's costing the country.
And what about the price of alcohol? Do you think that
I think it should go up, yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah, 100%.
Because
I think that would stop it.
I think it would help it. I just think it's too easily available and it's too cheap. You can go into a supermarket and buy the cheapest vodka and the cheapest beers, And if you couldn't buy that amount of it, that quantity for that little money, I just think it would help. People wouldn't be able to get so drunk.
Think of the pensioner who enjoys his little nip of scotch every night. If you have a minimum price, that scotch could go to from about 7 or 8 quid to about 14 quid a bottle. He doesn't drink irresponsibly. He doesn't go around getting drunk and fighting. He likes his little nip of scotch. Is that fair to him?
He's only having a little nip.
Yeah.
The bottle's going to last him a long time.
Well,
what about raising? They talk about possibly raising the legal age for drinking from 18 to 21.
Yes.
Do you think that people would be more sensible at 21?
Because we've got kids getting drunk at 14. So just because you set a law, it doesn't actually stop behaviour, it doesn't stop society. Kids will, and I would argue they'll still find cheap booze, or they'll still find the money to pay for the cheap lager.
I think they should be taxing nightclubs and pubs more heavily. Not when I say pubs, people have this view of a traditional pub. I'm talking about these city centre places. Ruth said Friday and Saturday night in A&E. It's not.
No,
it's Friday to Friday. They do it every night of the week. The litter, the policing, the security involvement, the abuse. We had a mother and father in here yesterday whose son was killed after a drunken fracas in Blackburn.
Tried to break up
last year. It's always the good ones. It's always the good lads.
It's always right. Adele, how can Adele? It's amazing. How can she take 5 years out now? Is this a big risk strategy here?
This story kills me. She's 23 and her boyfriend's 37, and she's willing to put her whole career on hold for 5 years for him. Don't do it, Adele. Don't do it.
You see, I didn't. I read this and went, you know, that girl she's so grounded that she's doing so well with her career. She's probably made money as well, but she's saying love is very important. You have to nurture it. And if you're in this industry, as we've seen with, you know, the tragedies of people that get involved in this industry sometimes and it takes over your life, she's saying, no, I'm going to take a step back. She's not saying she'll give up forever.
No.
Step back to concentrate on her relationship. Do you not think that's good?
No.
Yeah, but look, her last relationship got her this brilliant album. That all broke up. I mean, where's the material going to come from?
You're
such a cynic.
Yeah, well, that's what's made her fortune.
You wanted to have more broken hearts.
This guy dumping her was the best thing ever happened to her.
She'll write about love now, won't she? She'll do a beautiful one about love.
To put it in context, on Sunday night, she got as many Grammys in one night as Whitney Houston got in her entire career, all from a broken heart. I think Gavin's onto something.
Talking about breaking hearts, let's have a look. This guy's called Damion Merry, who apparently you know. He's on Take Me Out. He's in the papers today. Let's have a listen, because he's not very well liked.
Good evening, ladies. I'm Damion, and I'm from Weston-super-Mare.
So out of all the girls, you were going to pick Lucy?
From the beginning.
Technically, he's saying you're second best.
I always attract blondes, and I thought, tonight, pick a brunette, try something different.
Damion, I've never seen a girl turn her own light out at the end there.
All the girls got such lovely dates tonight. I feel like I've kind of taken one for the team.
Thing is, however, whatever you thought of Damion there, it's got quite bad for him. He's been attacked quite a lot on the internet, and he's saying he's going to have to move home because he's getting death threats.
Yeah, one of them was from me. I tell you what, right, this guy, I went on one date with him. One date.
That was enough.
We had pictures in a nightclub. He sold the pictures to the TV show or whoever, you know, he gave them away. And now it's being told that we had a whole full-blown relationship. I was his ex-girlfriend, this, that and the other. It's like...
Did you snog him?
I kissed him on the lips.
Well, that's it.
That's it. We're married and having kids. You know? I'm like... So, obviously, I knew from that one date that he wasn't... my ideal man, let's say, yes, and now, like, I'm getting stick from this show and from people going, oh my God, I can't believe you went out with that guy, he's so hideous. And I'm like, I didn't go out with him.
Well, there you go. She only had one date with him, OK? She's put the record straight now. So you're not surprised they all switched their lights out?
I'm not surprised at all.
Thanks, Jodie. Thank you very much indeed. Let's go to Colin.